Alright, hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to this solar system series called the Pyramid's Path Tower reading, where we do our generational reading for all zodiac signs as based off of the archangels turning the actual zodiac wheel 1 degree every 72 years. So this reading specifically is geared towards anybody under the influence of Leo specifically. As you can see, the selenite has selected Leo, and this reading is for anybody under the Sun, Moon, and mainly the ascendant sign of Leo during the years of 2012 all the way through 2084. So I'm not necessarily keeping it, isolated to Leos born post 2012 and onwards, but it is mostly for them since these are the actual generation that'll be birthed in this influence, and anyone born before is merely picking up on the changes as the wheels sort of shift. You get what I'm saying here? So without further ado, let's get this deck into the realm of all possibilities, start shuffling it, start shoe-flaying it. Gotta get these fat-ass cards moving and grooving because they are kind of hard to mix and intermingle. But, as you can see, we're getting the groove going, so once they're actually in the realm of all possibilities, we'll get it going. Alright, so let's cut the deck on Leo. Do another shuffle. We'll start laying them out. So this is about a 15 card reading. As you can see, we have a layer of 5 and a layer of 4. A layer of 3. Two, then 1. Alright guys, so now that we have this out of the way, let me start explaining how we extract meaning out of this actual reading. So this first layer right here, the 5 card reading, this is representative of the 5th dimensional realm and how we experience this in our day-to-day lives, right? So with this being the case, this section basically shows you the emotions that basically overlay a chapter of your life, right? So the right side is your righteous side, the side you know, you understand, all that stuff, right? And this is basically the right-hand path, the path you can understand, the path you can rely on, the path you can see, right? So this is your past. You could be in any one of these 3 cards right now, depending on how you resonate with this actual reading. But just know that this, the left-hand side right here, this is the future, the left-hand path, the realm of all possibilities. You know, just coming out of left field with it. And the sort of the timing-wise doesn't exactly apply as much when we move up in closer to the singular point of the pyramid. However, it does sort of, there is sort of like an afterglow effect on these cards up here, right? So these cards right here, these are the takeaway cards. So these are the 4th dimensional cards, the 4 cards. These cards basically detail the ideas that you take away from these experiences once you actually have a point of reference. This is why they're conjoined at 2. You need to feel one chapter of life, then feel another, before you can actually have a takeaway on it and form a sense of conviction on the subject. And then after that, once you have 2 cards, these 3 cards right here, which is basically your stack of skills throughout this life, are basically, sort of the tools of the trade that you find important to work on based off these experiences. So as we move up here, you're going to have your right hand skill, your left hand skill, and then you're going to have the core vibration that's been experienced throughout all this life. So this card will actually be the last card we pull, and then this, surprisingly not this one, this is the second to last right here. But without further ado, let's continue on the breakdown of it. So these 2 cards right here are basically your night pillar and your day pillar, showing you the conscious support of your purpose and the unconscious support of your purpose and how they can join together into a singular purpose. So without further ado, let's actually get into the reading. Alright, so Leos, for your right-hand card, where you guys sort of started out in life, is the you're not alone card. So isolation, physical connection, community. So when you're not alone, this is you sort of coming into your awareness of that there are more people like you. Because a common trait amongst Leos is they are one of the fixed signs, right? So if you're a Leo ascendant, for instance, you may sort of feel isolated in a sense because everybody's sort of drawing attention to you, and nobody's really exactly on the same playing field of just attracting attention. You just go through life attracting attention for, you feel like it's no apparent reason, but you're just in the space of having a fixated perspective on everything. So people always know you're going to have not a sense of conviction, but a firm perspective on a subject, whether you just come up with it on the spot or not, because at the end of the day, Leo is fixed fire, being fixated on their own way of seeing and feeling things, which is in other words, is basically a fixed perspective. So this card right here is basically the card of I wouldn't necessarily say you're physically alone, but I would say, like, in terms of the actual mental space and the feeling space you're in, you may feel alone. And this is why, because you'll have, like, all these people around you, but it won't feel like you can actually connect with them, because in certain ways, you're not on their level, and in other ways, they're not on your level. So it's just a weird little kind of a misunderstanding. Now, your next card right here is Surrender to the Sweetness, right? You sort of realize everybody isn't like you. People aren't like you, and you're sort of getting into a more uplifting sense of life where you can actually, recognize that people are different. You can be you. Enjoy the attention you attract. It's, people don't just, people would kind of kill for the position you're in a sense, because you're okay with yourself. Not as much as people may put you on a pedestal of, but there's a part there's just a part of you that when you're born, you sort of have this, like, a fixed perspective gives you a sense of reliance on your own, like, individual understanding of things that you sort of just take for granted. So this is you sort of coming into maybe a realization of that. This is you coming into the awareness of just knowing how to just be kind to people and relate to people, because at the end of the day, you want to be a sort of pretentious weirdo, because that's sort of what you may have been doing at first. I don't mean weirdo in a mean sense, but I just mean, you didn't recognize the skills that you were born with that others weren't. And then this middle card right here is, you got the Star Family card. You're part of a team of souls. Call in support. This is a pretty clear card right here. This is the card that you find in your people. You have your people. You got your support. And it was all because you cut out this kind of sense of loneliness pretty quick. You surrendered to the sweetness, you found your people, and now you're a part of a family, man. Who could hate on it? And then, basically, look at this right here. This is your color right here, Leos. Look, the golden children. I don't know any other color that you're at home in, so you're now, not only are you found your people, but you found a place to actually utilize your skills in a proper sense. Now you're actually receiving the information you need to see. You're utilizing the skills that you need to utilize. This is a good card, Leos. You guys are on a, you may take it like, oh yeah, kind of have a hard path, but so far you really haven't. So we'll talk about this a little more, then we'll see your future. So this card basically says golden children, inner child, tenderness, innocence, rare gifts. What were we talking about before? What were we talking about from the jump? You had a rare gift. You took it for granted, kinda, not totally, just kinda, and then you found a way to like it, you found your people, and what now? You're being utilized for your gifts. You got the sun right here. This is a great card for you. But yeah, there's a lot that's going to come back to this card, so wait till we get into it, right? But remember, this is on the left-hand path, so you may not necessarily see it the way you think it is. And then the last card you got is Trust the Timing. Trust the wave you came in on. Time is not running out. So, okay, now we got something to work with this card. So, this card right here, the golden children, inner child, tenderness, innocence, rare gifts, the spark and the feeling and that just like feeling of catching on the light with all this right here, this is a powerful feeling right here, because when things just come in so quickly and make so much sense and you just have these like gates opening of just new awarenesses, you may think you need to implement them at, right then and there. But what you may have to learn from your sort of right-handed counterparts, aka Virgo, is you got to make sense out of what you're receiving. You got to make sense out of what's going on. And from your left-hand counterparts, Cancer, you got to trust the time. You got to trust the wave you came in on. Trust the vibe. You have to know the vibe of when this information that you're sort of receiving, this perspective, this means to look at things, is when it's time to actually share that. When it's actually time to use it for yourself, because how you look at something is everything. you can look at fire and think it's dangerous, but then again, you're never going to know how to cook food and not use your spleen at the end of the day. You know, or your, whatever, not your pancreas. That's not what I'm thinking of. Whatever, so let's get back into it. Alright, so let's actually pull the thought cards. So, this right here. So, this isn't, that's interesting. I'm surprised at that. You got the weight of the world card between you're not alone and surrender to the sweetness. So I guess in between here and here, you're having some time really struggling to let go of the value that kind of holds you back from actually being able to relate to others. Because you think that, I guess this sort of takeaway right here is worrying that you actually let go of where you're coming from and the vibration of your sort of ascendant, sun, or moon, depending on what you actually have. Relying on that perspective can sort of block you being able to surrender to the sweetness, because knowing how to split the bridge between two worlds can feel very heavy. You know, you want to stay seeing what you're seeing, but at the same time you want to relate to people, but the cost is that you may actually lose your grip of being able to sit in that perspective and sit in that awareness that made you popular in the first place. You get what I'm saying here? Now your last card over here is the star bathing card. Check that out. Light body, crystal grid, transmission, activation. So right here, star bathing in a nutshell is you just sort of soaking in all this information, right? Because it's better to have a bigger toolbox than it is to actually, not know what you need when the time comes, right? So this is the training card in a nutshell. So this takeaway right here is sort of you being like, okay, if I have to trust the timing, just work on my skills, keep working on my skills, it's going to work eventually. It's going to work eventually, you know? So this is basically just soaking in enough vibration, soaking in enough awareness of in this position that you are now, that you actually have your family and you have your, you have your intuitions coming in. You just got to soak in it and build it up, because at some point it's going to build so far up to a point that you'll actually be able to just, just give someone the actual perspective shift they need at damn near every single time. You just have to pick up on so much, because you guys are basically, what's the word? I don't want to say the arbiters of, like, the soul group, but I want to say it's like you guys will basically be the judge, jury, and the main focus of how to actually look at all this information coming in and packaging it for like each individual zodiac sign, and being able to like ship out like, okay, you Virgo, focus on this perspective. You freaking Sagittarius, focus on this. And they'll be like, nah, I want to look at it this way. And you're going to be like, calm down, man. You don't need to look at these things multiple ways. That's not going to help you get to the information and understanding and even overstanding of what we want you to know. That's going to just keep you in an understanding and looking at it in numerous different ways. You're going to know how to attack it from any situation. That's not what we need right now. We need you to advance your learning, not advance your different perspectives. Okay, next card. So, this is a good card, because this sort of tracks off of this first takeaway right here, where you feel like there's a bunch of pressure on being able to see things the way you see things, right? And trying to learn how to let go, but let go in a right capacity, and just basically learning your balance makes you feel heavy, right? So after that, and you find your family and you find your people that you can actually rely on, that do get where you're coming from and do want to help you, you sort of actually learn how to surrender to the sweetness, and you learn how to share this enjoyment, and you learn how to let your brothers and sisters and your other people in the star family take some of the weight off your shoulders, because that's why you have a family. Not everybody can do everything, and there's always, the pressure is always easier felt when it's done by two people or even a family. That makes it even easier. So this water your garden card, nourishment, body care, tenderness, rest. This is what's going to allow you to actually propel yourself, because you know that when you take the time to rest and that you don't actually work yourself into the bone, you're free to actually do things at your own pace and your pace of enjoyment. And then you can actually share it with your people and know how to have checks and balances on what you're actually doing. Alright, now let's get into this, Leos. We're working hard. We're learning a lot right now. There's a lot to freaking vibe with. I get it. I shoot a lot of information. Alright, hey guys, how's it going? Thanks for following this video up until this point. Hopefully it resonates with you, and hopefully you really got something out of it, and maybe even some deep insight on how your life has been going, the emotional paths, and you actually have a means to categorize it in a way that truly resonates with you. So, thanks for following this. If you guys actually want more and you want to see this full reading, you can click on our Patreon link below. But for now, just take a spin with me and let's see this bigger reading for the entire ecliptic that we have going on ourselves. So once again, Patreon link is in the description if you actually want to see the full reading, and you can see the full end of the path, all the takeaways, and everything that you actually enjoyed up into it so far and what it actually concludes to. Now, this reading that we sort of stumbled into on ourselves is basically an encapsulating factor for all the zodiac wheel itself and all the signs itself and how they can work together, right? So as you can see, we're taking the positions of the 4 archangels in brief little kind of the outskirts of the reading. You can sort of see the selenite sticks on specific degrees that these archangels, aka the fixed stars that gave birth to all the zodiac wheels and all the actual constellations that archangels sort of gave birth to, you can sort of see how they are all represented in each section of the zodiac wheel. We have from Pisces all the way through and back around. So with these cards actually being here, you can see that on the Archangel Michael, aka Aries, Taurus through Gemini, we have the activated Earth cards. So these guys are the trendsetters, the path setters. They don't fill the space, they just create it and emit the light of origin, just like Archangel Michael did. Now you can see as we move through to the Leo-Virgo cusp, not the cusp of beauty, but the cusp previously, we have the We Are the Hearthers card. So this is the mother's milk. This is the actual vibrations and feelings and bloodline that actually flows through this experience. So you can see that going on right there through Raphael, the messenger, actually showing you the mother's milk and all the nutritious things that you need in this life. And then the next side on the Antares, aka Archangel Uriel side, the one who was done dirty in the Bible and isn't even shown through in a lot of religious texts today, you see the Star Family card. So he's the one, and all these zodiac signs will be following through and sort of creating their soul family, their soul growth, their birth, right? And then as we move on over in direct opposition to where we are right now, you'll see that we have an inversion of the You're Not For Everyone card. So the Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces folk will be basically showing us and being the structure system and what we can rely on in order to feel comfortable regarding just being ourselves, existing in our soul families, recognizing that we don't exactly conjoin in certain spaces with other signs, and that we may not necessarily vibe with each other, but we can get along and actually focus on all of our own personal goals for the greater good in the shared space that we all live in right now. As we've moved through 2 of the other archangel positions, and now that we're on the 3rd position, which is Antares, the star family, we've emitted our light, we've sent our message, and now we are bringing our family together, you know? So with doing that, let's actually talk about the conjoining pillars behind the messages from each group of constellations, right? So we've moved through the trendsetters, activated Earth, setting the ley lines. We've moved through the mother's milk, the actual vibration and message and blood flow that'll flow through each zodiac sign in that corner. Now we're on Antares, Archangel Uriel, so on and so forth, right? So starting on this card, we have the Courageous Peony card as well as the Earth School card. So you can see this is in the bottom right corner, right around the Scorpio section of the wheel. And these are the 2 cards below it, right? So the left-hand unaware path for this section of the zodiac wheel will be they're multifaceted. They have a unique nature, they can let themselves be seen, they have numerous skills, and they're just getting out here regardless, right? But to them, it looks like they are basically going to Earth School and learning how to utilize these soul gifts that they incarnated with that is very normal to them in the spirit realm, but not so normal to them on Earth. So they're going about trying to figure out how to package this for their Earth body, right? And they're trying to just, make it seem approachable to physical people and human bodies, because at the end of the day, not everybody's seen it, not everybody's been this, so you know how that goes. Now, on the Formahalt side, aka Archangel Gabriel, the man, the myth, the legend, and the being that basically brings a bunch of pain and suffering in this life so that it's easier to move into the next and figure out those soul gifts, which is kind of shitty in this life, but it's okay in the other realms, you know how it gets down. We have the Cracked Open card and the Portal card. So in a nutshell, that basically is just the 2 cards that sort of reflect the message and the vibrations that that section of the zodiac wheel will be carrying all the way through into the center and bringing that to light, right? They're showing you how to be vulnerable, how to be cracked open, how to let go of your ego, to go through the portal of your spirit, your space, and your own intuitive mission and message that you've been carrying through all realms of realities and all lives. And as we move back to the Archangel Michael card, which is in the 9-degree section of Gemini, he basically has the empathy, the empathic starseed, as well as the void card, right? Because they are the light at the end of the day. So the righteous path is that all these signs from Aries all the way through Gemini, they know how to move through unknown spaces. They know how to move through the realm of all possibilities. And then through that, in the subconscious realm, they'll be feeling empathy for everyone else in the wheel, because at the end of the day, they know how to hold their vision, they know how to hold their ground, and then the Gemini side knows how to move through any situation and use their mental abilities and figure that out regardless. Now, as we move through the messenger, the Raphael, we have big picture thinking on the left side, which is basically the side they, can't really see, and then the right side, which is the Earth card. So it's learning how to be human, learning how to be yourself but not be of this world. So learning how to be a spirit in a human body but not of this world, exactly, right? It's similar to the Earth School card, but it's more or less acting as the vibration of it. So the righteous side is these Cancers, Leos, Virgos. They'll have their own vibration on the subject, they'll have their own perspective on the subject, and then they'll know how to make sense out of it as well, which is the Virgo side, right? So this is what makes them the messenger, because they have their own feeling, their own perspective, and then they know how to make sense of things, right? So as you can see, the big picture thinking is closer to the Virgo-Leo cusp, while the Earth side is closer to the Cancer-Leo cusp. So that degrees will be doing more of that, and then the other degrees will be doing more of the other, right? But it's all for the same purpose at the end of the day. So in a nutshell, these are the core vibrations, the core message of how we can all work together, right? Alright guys, so we've made it to the final point in our rotation, and we're going to be going back in reverse, right? But so after everything that we went through in the reading so far, each message from each archangel, each point that each section of the zodiac wheel is supposed to work on, and each pillar behind each point that leads them to the main purpose of each section of the zodiac wheel. Now we're on what each zodiac sign brings to the table in the grand vision, right? So starting off with Formahalt, Archangel Gabriel, Mr. Hey, let's suffer in this life so we can enjoy spiritual prosperity in the next. Fucking Formahalt always. I mean, all the archangels can be trifling, but this one just in itself, from this perspective, is trifling. You know what I'm saying? So let's start on Pisces, right? So Pisces pulled the Whale and the Orca Elders card. I always take this as the big man on the block card. This is the card that actually shows you and knows how to be. This is just the card of experience, right? So people just look at you as someone with wisdom. And this plays out very true for Pisces, because in their process of showing people how to be vulnerable and that they're not for everyone, they are the mutable water signs. So they know how to be adaptable and changeable to different ways of feeling and adding emotions to things, right? So when someone's venting and they feel pain, they don't always want the opposition of Virgo to be making sense out of their pain, trying to figure it out. You girls know what I'm talking about when you're just trying to vent to your man and they're just sort of not listening and trying to solve it, right? In a nutshell, Pisces know this the best, because they know how to just listen and empathize with you and feel with you and try to go down to your vibrations to relate to you and sort of lift you up at the same time, right? Now, as we move over a little bit to the Aquarius side, we can see that they have the Water Your Garden card. So with them being the water bearers, they know how to construct and, cultivate certain emotions out of people. So what they can do is they know how to take time to be like, okay, this is how the world's feeling. I know they're feeling this way. So they know how to bring people their spa day, show them the, how to relax, reflect, and actually take care of themselves, in a nutshell. Now, as we move over the zodiac wheel a little bit, surrender to the sweetness, Venus energy, pleasure, joy, make love to life. I actually, if you actually watch the full readings, all these cards kind of correlate and are sort of main vibrations in each individual reading, and now I'm sort of realizing that, which is kind of cool how that happened. Holy shit, that's cool. But so yeah, back to Capricorn, right? I believe this is the right pillar to their purpose in life, right? Or it's their center vibration. It's something important though. Nonetheless, this is what Capricorn's supposed to bring to the table, right? If you have stability and status all your life, look at what you're actually going to bring into this life. Caring, home life. You're going to bring that vibration into reality, right? Because you already seek out and you already have the status, the stability that growing your seeds to the full potential may naturally bring you, which is why they're the highest vibration of all the zodiac signs, of all the earth signs, right? They're the final vibration of all the earth signs. Pardon me on that one. I'm about to be saying something wrong here. I don't be talking out of my ass. So with that being the case, these people will be bringing sweetness back into life because they have the ground, they have that sense of stability, they can give people that reliance. Now, moving on to Sagittarius, right? Alright, moving on to Sagittarius. Sagittarius pulled the Loosen Your Grip card. This card right here, basically, how they're going to be bringing people into their star family and sort of bringing people into their ability to be multifaceted and actually show them how to multitask and have numerous skills, is one of their big lessons in life was to let go of their own spiritual awareness, to let go of their own ability to just think so highly of themselves and be a holy roller in a sense, right? They're showing everybody how to just go with the flow, and instead of just mentally experiencing all realms of reality, but actually to do it in your physical body, because that's where we live at the end of the day. And that's how they're going to link us up into having numerous skills to meet their star, to meet everyone in the zodiac wheel's star family and their soul family, so they can feel at home and be able to just soften up, right? Now, Scorpios, you know how you Scorpios get down. You got the Seas of Mintaka. So the Seas of Mintaka is quite representative of what you guys do naturally, which is being down deep into the ocean, right? But this is a different ocean. This is the esoteric ocean. This is the ocean of understanding, overstanding, and experience in general. You feeling so deeply will basically keep everyone in the soul group on track. It'll keep everyone in the soul group on point. It'll keep everyone in the soul group together, vibrating, staying. You know what I'm saying? So this will keep everybody just knowing where they are, knowing what's going on, in the sense of you're a human, but you're also floating amongst the astral sea. And you feel that so deeply, no one will ever let it go, and you'll make sure it's known. And then as we move on to Libra, we got the Star Brothers card. So this Star Brothers card is, it's basically the epitome of the vibration of Libra in a nutshell. It's the Saturn and Libra energy, getting people together to work with you to create structure, right? These people will be the joiners, and these will be the ones that actually can join the star family, because they're going to be the ones that are kicking off, showing people how to move through this earth school, in a sense. Now, moving on to the next section, we will have the mother's milk, the Archangel Raphael, the earth energy, and the big picture thinking. But how does each zodiac sign work within this vision? So, starting on Virgo, the people that are making sense out of things, it's quite ironic that they pulled the card of I Remember. I Remember is basically remembering your soul gifts, your soul path, your understanding, and actually showing you why people believe in all this spirit stuff to begin with. It's not nonsense. Just because we call it the mother's milk doesn't mean it's necessarily your mom. It's Mother Earth. This is the lesson that we're supposed to bring in this world, and we're supposed to be learning in this world. Remember what the right pillar is. It's Earth. Learning how to be learning how to be human in the world of humans, but not of it. This is what Virgos are going to help you make sense out of through the big picture thinking and actually seeing what's going on at the end of the day. Now, Leos, they pulled a new Earth card. These are fixated, remember? The new Earth card is hold on, maintain your vision. And what do Leos do at the end of the day? They are fixed fire, being fixated on their own way of feeling and adding emotions to things. Well, not adding emotions, but seeing and feeling, which in a nutshell means is a fixed perspective. So they're holding on to the vision. They're holding on to what this mother's milk is telling them. They're holding on to what this astrological blood flow and esoteric fluid that flows in with all this information and experience of how the real world actually operates is moving into this realm. They know, being fixated on that vision, they know how to be in this world, not of it, and they can hold on to the big picture thinking and combine the energies of Cancer and Virgo to actually create this flow of information and maintain it through the world. Now, the Cancer card basically also applies to them quite interestingly, because it's forge, don't follow. Create your own path, learn how to follow it for yourself, because at the end of the day, do you want to follow someone else's path, or do you want to create one for your own? Cancers know this the best, because at the end of the day, they sort of are the most powerful sign according to numerology and vibrational standings, because they are cardinal water, initiating and creating new ways of feeling and adding emotion to things. Before you get an idea or a flow even goes through your perspective, you need a feeling, right? You need a feeling to get the idea. You need a feeling to get you started doing anything. You need a feeling to actually not like something. You need a feeling to react to it in any type of way, at least in this world. So this is why Cancers are the most powerful sign, and they're the ones actually creating the vision behind what we're experiencing. So they're the ones, not necessarily everything we're experiencing, but they're the ones creating the emotion that supports the perspective and the actual structure system to make sense out of what's about to flow into this realm. And what actually will bring us back to our soul group origins and remind us of, if you are a starseed, where you came from and what your message is and how you can improve the world for the collective. Now, moving back to where we started in the Archangel Michael territory of Aries, Taurus, Gemini, or in this way that we're going it through, or this way that we're going through it as Gemini, Taurus, Aries, we have, what do we have for Aries? Let me see this shit. So for Gemini, we have your life as a canvas. We know that about Geminis. We knew that from the jump. Look at freaking Trump and Kanye and what they're doing and how they came together but are doing so many different things and apart, but exactly living a quite similar life. You know what I'm saying? They can do anything they want and anything they desire, regardless of how people feel about them. This is what you can learn from Geminis right now. Not to mention those two specifically, depending on how you feel about it, but, you know, trigger warning. So your life as a canvas, this speaks for itself, right? If their message and this section of the zodiac wheel's purpose is to create the path, build the roads, build the structure for everybody, and actually emit the light of what a new world could be, Geminis are perfect because they're mutable air. They're adaptable and changeable to different ways of thinking and communication. So basically, they're going to be guiding everyone through the void with much empathy because they know what it's like to have to create for yourself. They know what it's like to build a world from scratch. This is why what they're doing right now, and this is why they have the left-hand path of being subconsciously empathetic towards those that haven't been in the void before. But this is why they also know how to be in the realm of all possibilities to truly create a world from scratch. Now, this is what Gemini is doing, so creating the thoughts behind it, showing people how to think about it. They're going to leave it open. They're going to leave it, you know, the life is a canvas. This isn't their canvas. This is everyone's canvas. And they know that at the end of the day. Yes, some may come and actually use their own powers against it, but some may not. Now, let's move on to Taurus. Taurus got the Seven Sisters start. Since it isn't inverted, this isn't necessarily bad like it would be if it was inverted, because this would be a lot of higher vibrational confusion. But since Taurus is the ground, they are the ones that have the most ability to receive the most information on what's going on, since at the end of the day, Taurus is the master builder signs. They make the blueprints. They create the wheel. They didn't create the wheel, but you know what I mean. They are the ones that stand firm and vibrate on stable ground in order to let all these things happen. So if Aries is creating the vision and Gemini is tweaking everything that's going on, Taurus is the one actually out there building the roads and showing people the way from practical point A to point B to get to build the even framework for the whole zodiac wheel to do their thing. This is why all signs, all archangels, all sections of the wheel are very important to completing this 360 of experience, but you always have to have that first step. And Taurus is the ones that will be supporting everyone through this way. So Taurus is, be strong. This is why you are the ones tapping into your seventh dimensional awareness, your constellational awareness, your deep understanding of building experience in a nutshell. You are the ones who can join the empathy and the void, and you know which to use when. Now, let's get back to where we started in this world, but we had to start where other people did in the other world, aka going through Pisces around, because in the spirit world, Pisces was first, but in this world, it's Aries. So back to the beginnings, right? Beginnings always start where they end. So for this one, we have karmic relationships, right? So Aries, working through the vision, will have to learn how to relate its vision to other people without maintaining that it is its vision. They're the conduit. They're the ones who built these soul ties to actually see where the earth wanted to go. All these people, Aries moons, Aries suns, Aries ascendants, will be the ones that are the guiding light at the end of the day, as well as Mars and Aries. This is why we are experiencing this time with a lot of retrograde Mars during the 2020 election, because we have to see where we want to go. Is this really want to go? Is this really how we want to do it? What's the vision that we set out for? What's the actual motivation that we had way back when, right? So with this being the case for Aries, these are the ones deciding, these based off how this vision is created, because they're the ones in direct contact with the void, because they're the ones that have the light and have the direction. So being in direct contact with this void can be kind of tough, because the realm of all possibilities is both positive and negative. It's just the space itself. How do you want to fill it? So this is very key. Make sure your Aries aren't in too much aggression energy and more of that creativity energy, because they're the ones that will be sparking the end and sparking the beginning at the same time. So know what you're doing, and Aries, make sure you rely on your Taurus, Gemini, Pisces friends. Make sure you rely on all these people, because yes, the Pisces constellation technically has moved into the space of the first house where Aries created, so they sort of have that big man on the block, like they know what they're doing feeling. But remember, always have your spirit side and your ground on both sides of you at all times, because this karmic relationship can be good or bad, positive or negative. We don't know exactly which is going to be yet, but remember, when you have destruction, something will always be open to be built after the fact. So anyways, if you guys want to go deep on your own signs, or you want to go deep on your actual own experience as an individual zodiac sign, we have the full video actually on Patreon. So click our Patreon link in the description below, and peace.